Well-known author, investment banker, consumer advocate, analyst, trader. Chris Markowski is the watchdog on Wall Street.
You want answers?
Exposing the lies and myths that the big brokerage firms, the mainstream press, and the government are pushing to keep Americans away from financial freedom.
You can't handle the truth.
Bringing America the truth about what really happens in the financial world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to indulge in fantasy, but in political and economic reality.
This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
Happy Easter. Happy Easter. Happy Passover to everyone out there. I got to do it twice. Next week it'll be Christos Anestis with Greek Easter, Orthodox Easter following up. As my longtime listeners here at the program know, my favorite holiday of the year. Some people love Christmas, really get into Christmas. I'd say I don't love Christmas time. I do. I was a little bit more to it, quite honestly, when the kids were younger. But I've always, since I was a child, I just love Easter. I love the message in around this time of year. I grew up in upstate New York, so Easter time meant spring. And it meant the return of Little League Baseball and looking forward to Dad opening up the pool in the backyard and just so many different things going on with that time of year. And I'm sure many of you out there having those vivid dreams at night, being cooped up. I know I'm constantly getting hit with waves of nostalgia. I was thinking about this past week back when I was younger during Easter week, and it's usually the time off from school, and we'd have to spend a lot of time around the church preparing the church for the various different masses. I was an altar boy and spent a lot of time in the evenings during Holy Week at church, and looking back and again opening up file cabinets in my brain that I haven't looked into in a while, just how great that experience was, and then thinking about some of the friends that I had back then and the things that we used to do. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough for everybody out there. We here today on the program, we are going to get into various different avenues, things that are happening around the country, things that unfortunately are not being covered. A light is not being shined on them. I can't tell you how thoroughly it's not surprising. It isn't. It's just disappointing as far as the mainstream media is concerned with the questions that they are asking the powers that be. I watch what's going on. You've got various different governmental bodies that keep changing their tune. Should I wear masks? Should I not wear masks? How many people are expected to fall victim of this? And that changes on almost a daily basis. One of the things that we've always put out there, we've always fought here on the program, and what we've told you is that conventional wisdom is poison. Conventional wisdom, common knowledge is poison. We have been lied to. Our entire lives. I've been lied to my entire life by the government. I on countless different occasions. I don't have faith in the powers that be. I don't. I lost. I really do think probably the last straw with me was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. I mean, that was just really, that was it. That was it with me. And again, also at that same period, a little bit earlier, No. Right at the same time, bridges to nowhere and Republicans talking about, fiscal responsibility and just throwing money at one stupid project. I don't know what it was. I think probably the Iraq is just the straw that really broke the camel's back when it comes to me having any faith in government at all. I watch these press conferences every day, like many of you out there, and I finish up, and I'm like, what did we learn today? What did we learn today? I'm just confused. Just a couple weeks ago, we were told that a couple million people were going to succumb to this in the United States. Now, what's the latest? The latest models is what? 60,000? It's terrible. 60,000. But it's not 2 million. And again, I read stories, wear masks, not wear masks. Numbers coming out saying that not enough people are being tested. Okay, not enough people being tested. Okay, more people are going to be tested than what? That means that maybe everybody has got it. Again, nothing adds up. Nothing. And this is why I don't trust. We're going to get in to all of that today. And we're going to also talk about the forgotten man, the forgotten woman, the working man, the working woman, the small business owner, the entrepreneur, which, let me put it to you this way. A good way of putting it. They give it to the government. Government comes and breaks your legs, kneecaps you, takes a bat to your knees. Small business owner, restaurant owner, takes a bat to your knees. Worker, puts you out of work, takes a bat to your knees, then hands you a rickety cane and says to you, look what I've done for you. You should be thankful. Let's go through. And again, I don't take any, I don't enjoy going over these headlines by any stretch of the imagination. I don't. If you're new to the program, we've been fighting for small business owners here on the Watchdog on Wall Street show since our inception. They make up a large portion of our listening base and our clientele at Markowski Investments since we've started. We attract small business owners to our because we think alike. We think alike. We know what it takes. We know the hard work. We understand. We love our employees, the people that work for us. We're being ripped apart on the inside with god-awful decisions that we have to make just to stay afloat at this point in time. Here are some of this week's headlines. Nearly a third of U.S. apartment renters didn't pay April rent. A third. You understand that's going to be an underlying problem when it comes to what? Mortgages. Many landlords have mortgages on their property. The renters are not paying rent. What's going to happen with those mortgage payments? Oh, yeah, we got problems. Almost half of small businesses will close if they cannot reopen soon. Again, small businesses, lifeblood of the United States. Lifeblood of the United States. Almost half of small businesses will close if they cannot reopen soon. Retailers out there, they've shut down their stores, furloughing workers all around the country. And guess what? Many of them have major debt payments that they have to make shortly. Neiman Marcus, J.C. Penney's. Yeah, they'll probably be able to refinance it because the banks don't want to own the stores. But it's not good. 1 in 4 Americans have either lost their job or had a pay cut from the shutdowns. Coronavirus is set to cost 195 million jobs in the second quarter. This is based upon hours not being worked anymore. That's according to various different agencies. This is globally. Requests to delay mortgage payments jumped nearly 2,000% as borrowers seek relief during the coronavirus outbreak. What do you think that this is going to do to the overall real estate market? Small business optimism suffers the sharpest plunge ever. I saw this, saw two different pictures. And again, they weren't American papers. They were not American papers. One was in the UK. No, they were both UK papers. One was down in South Florida, where you had a line of cars stretching for miles, waiting in line for a food bank. The modern day bread line. Hey, it's here in this country. No one's talking about this. We have bread lines here in this country. In Florida, at an unemployment office, were the people social distancing? No, they weren't. Lined up because what? The state unemployment computers crashed. We got, more Americans worry about losing wages and covering costs as coronavirus spreads. I can go on and on and on. I'm going to read to you a couple quotes here. And again, I want you to think about these during the break. And I'm going to come back to you with some numbers that are going to blow your mind. First, you had the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, say, "There's no price too high to save a life." And then you had Andrew Cuomo of New York saying, "We will not put a dollar figure on human life." I don't want anyone to die either. I don't. I want you to think about what they had to say, and I'm going to come back to you with numbers that, again, nobody in the mainstream media is talking about. Not getting any questions from the powers that be, not getting any answers from Fauci or Birx or anybody up there on that podium every single day. You know what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about the cost, the death toll. Anybody ever talk about the death toll from the Great Recession from 2008 through 2009? We're going to talk a little bit about that. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com is their site. WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. People, we're doing everything and anything we can to help you out. Business owners, whether it be your business, you need help, you need advice in regards to what's going on. We're helping people out, of course, as always, with their portfolios. That's what we do here at the Watchdog on Wall Street show. Get to our website, WatchDogOnWallStreet.com. We also have a 24-hour day help hotline, 800-471-5984. That number again, 800-471-5984. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
You should believe in math, not magic. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the one, the only, the Watchdog on Wall Street show. You know what? I did learn this past week that the first use of the F word, that's right, in a manuscript took place in Scotland. It was like 1586. And the writer who put the F-bomb in the manuscript was in a quarantine lockdown. Makes sense, doesn't it? Anyway, I live in one of the hardest hit areas, if not the hardest hit area in the world as it stands right now. New York City. And I live right outside in Long Island. I live in Suffolk County. The hospitals here have been hit hard. They've been hit very hard. There's nobody wanting for ventilators. There's enough equipment. There's everything that's there. But you have to put yourself into a position of doctors and nurses that, oftentimes they have pretty good success rates. People coming into the emergency room, they're having a heart attack. They're able to save that person, broken bones, various different things. The situation when it comes to coronavirus is that there, quite frankly, there just might not be anything that they can do. Certain people, and I don't want to be morbid, but we're honest here on the program, there's nothing that can be done. That's scary. It's frightening if you think about it. It's frightening. Human beings, you want to solve problems. Doctors, they want to be able to solve a problem. And they have. They've saved countless lives. Certain people, yes, they've been able to help. They've been able to save that probably 10, 20, 30 years ago, if this popped up, they wouldn't have been able to save. Who knows? But not everybody. And it's tough. It really is. We have been fighting on the front lines here at the Watchdog and Wall Street Show and Markowski Investments in a different way. We're trying to help people to keep their businesses alive. Because, again, no one ever talks about this. And it really bothers me. Because I mentioned those two quotes by the governor of New Jersey and the governor of New York talking about the death toll. And I know it's bad. And I know people are going to die. And guess what? People are going to die of coronavirus when this lockdown ends. God willing, it ends soon. But anybody ever talk about the death toll from the Great Recession not too long ago, little over 10 years ago? No. It was all about too big to fail and bailing out banks and all sorts of stuff. Now, Dr. Fauci made a statement. Again, I gave you two governor statements. He made a statement. I think it was on the Today Show. And he was talking about the 30-day recommendations and guidelines. And he said, I know it's difficult, but we're having a lot of suffering, a lot of death. This is inconvenient from an economic and personal standpoint, but we just have to do it. Inconvenient, huh? Dr. Fauci, you're being naive, my friend. You're being naive. No one is talking about the profound effect on public health. Do you understand that thousands of people are going to be adversely affected and will probably die if we're just going by the numbers from the Great Recession? If we're using my models, we always talk about their models. Let's use my models here. People are going to die because they've lost their jobs and they've lost their business. Well, how could that be? How could that be? Well, let's go take a look at the numbers. Take a look at the numbers. This is a Harvard study on public health. You going from 2008 through 2009 and to 2010. The rise in unemployment and job loss was associated, I'm not making this up, people, with 260,000 excess cancer-related deaths, many that were normally considered treatable. This is within the OECD, 36 largest countries in the world. 260,000 excess cancer-related deaths. Stress. Frustration. Yeah, that's a serious number. We've already had here in this country over 10 million people, was it close to 15 million people file for unemployment? Is anyone talking about what this means health-wise? More on this when we get back. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Don't go anywhere. Be back.
Chris Markowski is the watchdog on Wall Street. Bringing America financial freedom one listener at a time. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
Welcome back, everybody. The one, the only, the Watchdog on Wall Street show. 260. We are 260,000 excess cancer-related deaths attributed to the Great Recession. 260,000. This is within the 36 OECD countries. Now, I want to remind people that the unemployment rate, the business failure rate is going to be much, much higher now than it was during the Great Recession. Take that into account. What else besides cancer? What else? Oh, hey, let's go to the studies here. Heart attacks. The risk of heart attack may be highest during the first year of unemployment. Researchers looked at 13,500 adults who took part in a health and retirement study. The risks of heart attack associated with multiple job losses were of the magnitude of other risk factors, such as smoking, hypertension, and diabetes. That's right. Unemployment is as bad for your heart as smoking. Yeah. People who are unemployed were more than twice as likely to develop ailments like high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease over the next year and a half compared to people who were continuously employed. What about the suicide rate? During the 2008 through 2009 recession, almost 5,000 excess suicides. That is deaths above what pre-existing trends would predict occurred over that period of time. Are we taking these numbers into consideration? I don't know where we go. You got people yelling at you. I mean, you got a whole new world of little Stasis and Nazis running around. Oh, I see it on social media. You had the mayor of Los Angeles, this Eric Garcetti. He's a great little Nazi. Yeah, turn in your neighbor. We'll give you a reward if you see them not following our rules. I see people that I went to high school with on social media. I don't engage on social media. If you see anybody conducting business that they shouldn't be conducting, call the hotline number and turn them in. So that widow who does hair, who's got a couple kids that she has to feed, she has to support, you're going to turn her into the police is what you're going to do? Shame on you. Do you have any idea what that's like? Do you have any idea what's that? You've got dependents and you can't put food on the table? And you get all of these holier-than-thou celebrities and news people. Just stay at home. Keep everybody safe. I'm starving. How does that sound? How do you say that to somebody that's held up in their home that has kids that can't eat? What, you think that $1,200 check is going to go far? Huh? How long do you think that is going to actually last, my friends? There's a balancing act that needs to take place here, and we're not doing a very good job of it. I'm sorry. We're not. And I'm here to tell you, I don't believe them. I don't believe anything that we're being told. We don't get proper questions being asked. You understand that every tight control group that they have tested, where they've gotten a lot of tests out, Iceland, where they've tested more than 5% of the population. There was the Diamond Princess cruise line, where they tested everybody on the boat. There was also a town of, I think it was about 3,500 people in Italy, the town of Vo. They tested everyone. Do you know that more than 50% of the people that tested positive never showed a single symptom? You know what that tells me? What that tells me? They can't get this under control. They can't. It's not possible. They can try to slow it as best they can. And again, they don't want to let the American people, in on it. It's like saying, you know what? Let's put a cork on a volcano and try to stop it. You can't. It can't be done. Let's blow at that hurricane to see if we might make it go away. It can't be done. Let's try to stop an earthquake. It cannot be done. Oh, I know. We're talking about vaccines. And God willing, we'll get one. But the point has been made. Guess what? They've still yet to get a vaccine for AIDS. Yeah, they use antivirals. They have. But again, many times vaccines. You can't use vaccines on older people. Might not work. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to blow up our country in the meantime? More on this when we get back. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. Our newsletter, consultations with our certified financial planners. All sorts of great stuff at our site. We are here to help. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. Our 24-hour day help hotline, 800-471-5984.
Taking Wall Street's liars, crooks, and cheats out behind the woodshed. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the Watchdog on Wall Street show. Always honored to have you tuned into the program. And no, if you have questions about your business, if you need help in regards to applying for a program, you want some sort of advice? No. You don't have to have an account with us. You don't. We're helping everybody out. All of us at Markowski Investments across the entire country. We are burning the midnight oil. We are here to help you. Yes, are we helping out with your portfolio questions and all of that stuff? Of course we are. Of course we are. But to be quite honest with you, the stock market will take care of itself. It will. The stock market, big business is going to be fine. Big business is going to get tons and tons and tons and tons of money like it always does. The Federal Reserve is going to lever up 10 times the money that the Treasury allocated, and you're going to have over $4 trillion that can be allocated to big businesses all across the country. Do you understand that the entire corporate debt market is only about $2 trillion? They'll be fine. They'll be fine. It's you I'm worried about. This is why you need to take advantage. I'm going to play for you a couple clips. These are clips that I played before here on the program from some movies, and I think that they give a little insight into what I think is happening here in this country. First clip I want to play from you, and we'll go over it, is from the movie Men in Black. And in this clip, you've got, Will Smith asking why. Why don't you tell everybody about the space aliens walking around everywhere? Play it.
Humans, for the most part, don't have a clue. They don't want one or need one either. They're happy. They think they have a good bead on things.
Well, why the big secret? People are smart. They can handle it.
The person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it.
There you go. Yeah, they are. They are. Yeah, do I believe from the very beginning? Go back. I following this stuff. It's my job. Some of the information that they were putting out about the coronavirus at the very beginning was the most accurate. And it got swept under the rug. Why? Because it was scary. It was scary. And the government they don't want to scare you. Again, they want to keep you in the dark. They want to give you the illusion of safety, which leads us to our next clip, which we'll get to when we get back. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Again, Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Your lighthouse out there among the storms and the clouds. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. We'll be back.
You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street. This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
Welcome back, everyone. It is the Watchdog on Wall Street show. Always honored to be in front of the microphone. Lucky to still be in front of the microphone, fighting all the liars, crooks, and cheats out there that want to keep you in the dark. Longest running financial program in all the country. Over 20 years now on the air. And I can't thank our stations and our listeners enough. And we continue to now grow this program and our reach via our podcast that we're doing daily. Again, you can sign up for it on any of the major podcast sites. You can do it on our website at watchdogonwallstreet.com. And we are going over the headlines and the news every single day. I try to keep it short and sweet. I do. I try to keep it around 30 to 35 minutes every single day. So when you're on the treadmill, you're going for a jog, you're working, you can get the entire thing. And we go through all of the important stories of the day and try to have a little fun, too. Anyway, I want to play for you another clip. Okay? Basically illustrating my point. We played the bit from Men in Black where, again, people are dumb, they say, right? Panicky. Governments, oh, my God, we come out and we tell people really just how contagious this is and just how deadly it's going to be to certain people. They're going to freak out. So you know what we got to do? We got to come up with something where we give them the false sense of security. And if they follow these rules, they can be okay. They can be okay. Meanwhile, the virus has spread. We have no idea how many people have had it. It's probably been in the country since the fall, and we don't even know it. It's, no, it's not airborne. It only goes by droplets. Baloney. It's airborne. Been airborne. The whole time. Been airborne. If it wasn't airborne, how did those people in Hong Kong that didn't come in contact with each other, that were in a quarantine, get it? Oh, yeah, it went through the air. It went through the pipes. It's airborne. Hear what they're telling you. Oh, no, don't wear a mask. Yeah, you wear a mask. Oh, who says wear a mask? I'm not wearing a mask. You wear a mask. Give me a break. Stop insulting my intelligence. They like to give people the false sense of security. There is a great scene in the movie Fight Club, which is one of my favorites, where, again, I don't want to, if you haven't seen the movie, you need to see it. It's brilliant. But I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it. Let's just say there's a scene in the movie where two characters meet on an airplane. Play the clip.
If you are seated in an emergency exit row, yeah, and feel you would be unable or unwilling to perform the duties listed on the safety card, please ask a flight attendant to reseat you.
It's a lot of responsibility.
Want to switch seats?
No, I'm not sure I'm the man for that particular job.
An exit door procedure at 30,000 feet. The illusion of safety.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know why they put oxygen masks on planes?
So you can breathe.
Oxygen gets you high. In a catastrophic emergency, you're taking giant panic breaths. Suddenly you become euphoric, docile.
Yeah. Well, he talks about accepting your fate. And they're looking at the time in the movie, they're looking at the little safety card there where they're telling people how to put their head between their legs. And everybody's smiling on the little safety cards. And he's like, yeah, how about that? Crash landing at 600 miles an hour in the water. How's that going to work out? False sense of security. Right? That's basically what they're doing. Want people to think that, oh, gee whiz, if we do all of these things, we're going to be okay. I got to hand it this past week. Tucker Carlson has jumped aboard our bandwagon and what we've been talking about on our podcast here, and he's been doing a great job on his show. And he talked about the Hong Kong apartment building who got infected through plumbing pipes and the various different small control groups out there, how half the people that had coronavirus that they tested didn't show any symptoms. This is super, super, super contagious, but it's also not nearly as lethal as they are making it out to be. Half the people that were tested in Iceland, and they did over 5% of their population, have been completely asymptomatic. People, do you understand this is the first time in history that we are quarantining healthy people? That's right. We are quarantining healthy people. You've got idiots out there actually floating the idea that, we may not be able to open things up for 18 months. 18 months! You better go stock up on ammunition for crying out loud. You don't have a country in 18 months. Did anybody actually just think about, from an epidemiological standpoint, grocery stores are open, right? Grocery stores are open. If you're trying to stop the spread of something, you're going to have everybody within your neighborhood, your entire zip code, meet up at the same place. Meet up at the same place and buy food? Oh, you think that 6 feet thing is actually going to work? That what they're telling you? Yeah, looking at models today at how far that this thing spreads if one person coughs. I'm not doing this to scare people. I'm not doing this to scare you. I'm just being honest with you. I hate it when people lie. I hate it when people lie. Some things in life you just don't have control over. I've got to be careful. My mother-in-law lives in my house. She's older. We're quarantined. We're not going anywhere now. But things start to open up. They're going to allow the kids back to school. Guess what? I'm going to have her go stay with her friend who's her age in Queens until things get a little bit better. If you're at risk, guess what? You may need to quarantine yourself. But do we really want to be looking at hundreds of thousands of excess deaths due to the stress of unemployment? Do we really want to blow up our economy? Because that's what we're doing. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. We will be back.
Well-known author, investment banker, consumer advocate, analyst, trader. Chris Markowski is the watchdog on Wall Street.
You want answers?
Exposing the lies and myths that the big brokerage firms, the mainstream press, and the government are pushing to keep Americans away from financial freedom.
You can't handle the truth.
Bringing America the truth about what really happens in the financial world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to indulge in fantasy, but in political and economic reality.
This is the Watchdog on Wall Street.
All right, one of the interesting things, if you ever got a chance to go through my my email box or sometimes my voicemail or whatever, Facebook, things like that, you'll see people on both the left and the right say terrible, terrible things about me. Again, I don't bear them no mind. You know, people who speak in bumper stickers, you kind of stay away from them. I always say, never argue with idiots. Learned that in talk radio some 15 some odd years ago. Never argue with idiots because they've got way too much experience at being an idiot, and they're the common denominator. You're never going to lift the conversation out of idiocy. So there's really no point in it. It's like people who've got tons of bumper stickers on their car with like coexist on the back and other garbage. Avoid them. I hit the gas and I'm gone. I'm gone. You avoid that. You know, they're not very intelligent people there. But anyway, I'm going to be critical, and I have been critical this past week, and a lot of these super Trumpsters out there have gotten pretty upset with me. My criticism of the PPP program, the SBA programs, but I'm honest. I'm the one that's dealing with these people. It kind of ticks me off to no end. You see these stories. I don't see anybody talking to small business owners, restaurants, restaurateurs, people who own stores, clothing stores, whatever. Boutiques, doesn't make any difference. You're talking to them about their business. I'm sick and tired of hearing from the people, oh, things are going great. Steve Mnuchin says things are going great. We're getting that money out, and we got billions of dollars out the door. Oh, there's Larry Kudlow. Things are going great. No, they're not. They're not going great. In fact, they're going quite terrible. Man, it's again, lies. Lies. Vietnam again. Weapons of mass destruction again. Lies. Michael Burry, Dr. Michael Burry. And that name rings a bell. Dr. Michael Burry ran a hedge fund. I think he still does, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, maybe he retired. I'm not sure. He was portrayed by Christian Bale in the movie The Big Short, the Michael Lewis movie, The Big Short. It was a great movie. He started betting against the mortgage securities market back in 2005. He saw something wrong. And his investors didn't like it because he wasn't doing well for a while. But he turned out being quite right. Well, Dr. Burry is echoing what I'm saying here. Universal stay-at-home is the most devastating economic force in modern history, and it's man-made. It reverses the gains of underprivileged groups, kills and creates drug addicts, beats and terrorizes women and children in violent, now jobless households. It bleeds deep anguish and suicide. And he says that he would lift stay-at-home orders except for known risk groups. What we said from day one. How this should have been handled from day one. But again, what do politicians do? What did we say from the get-go weeks ago here on the program? It's going to be some sort of freaking perverse game of poker where I raise you this shutdown and I'm going to take you up to this shutdown. And we go on and on and on. Again, I gave the metaphor last hour here on the program. It's a government coming in and kneecapping you and handing you a wobbly, made-in-China, crappy cane and saying, well, gee whiz, look what I did for you. You better thank me now. This plan that they put out is not working. Do you understand? It's not enough. The way it's set up doesn't work. It doesn't work. The parameters are messed up. There was a piece by Christopher Bedford in the Federalist, and he breaks it down in terms of a restaurant. I want you to pay close attention. There's numbers here. Imagine you have a restaurant with a gross revenue of $1.2 million a year, $100,000 a month. You employ 8 people, and you have expenses of $1 million a year. That's $85,000 a month. So in a normal year, you get to take home $200,000 minus taxes, 20% profit. By the way, restaurants don't show 20% profits, okay? That you're doing really well. You're a small business and you're showing those types of numbers, you're doing pretty well. You're all of a sudden you're shut down, right? So again, you're a restaurant. You don't have to buy food anymore. You don't have to buy food. You don't have to buy stuff, goods anymore. But you still have to do what? You still got to pay rent. You still got to rent, or you have to pay interest on your mortgage. You got to pay real estate taxes. You got to pay building insurance. You got to pay maintenance. You got to pay utilities. And let's just say that comes to $15,000 a month. And let's say you have payroll, $30,000 a month before taxes. And none of this includes your pay. You got no money coming in. You need a loan. So here comes the government. Here I come to save the day. Here comes government, all the king's horses and all the king's men. Senate's loan amount is generated by multiplying a business's monthly payroll by 2.5. The loan is meant to cover 2 months and can go toward your costs and your utilities. But to qualify for grant forgiveness, you need to retain your entire workforce and put at least 75% of the loan toward them. Now, again, follow along here. At 2.5 times your monthly payroll, which is $30,000, you're looking at a $75,000 loan. This is obviously a hell of a lot less than you need. You're already in a hole. You already saw a steep decline in your business prior to this coronavirus thing as this thing spread. You may have lost a ton in food that you couldn't sell because it just went bad. So now you got $75,000 for 2 months. 2 months of payroll, rent, utilities is what? 90 grand, we'll say? 15,000 more than the loan? You're shut down. You're not pulling in a dime. So it's June. You haven't gotten income now. You're halfway through the year, and you can hope that everything comes roaring back. But I'm sure the media's going to be doing everything and anything they can to scare people, to keep them frightened and cowering in their homes. What else is going to happen? You got your fellow businesses in the neighborhood. They're going to go under. So guess what? Your costs of goods are going to go up. There's no way that you're going to make $200,000 in profits. Not to mention, you've had to take out loans. You can't get private loans now because banks aren't giving them. In fact, J.P. Morgan Chase, biggest bank in the country, we're not giving out any sort of business loans anymore, small business loans. Not going to do it. We're just doing those PPP loans now. What are small business owners going to do? They're going to throw their hands up in the air. Throw their hands up in the air. They're going to quit. They're going to quit. And people are going to lose their jobs. Now, what do you think? We're going to flip a switch and this is going to get better? Every day that this goes on, the worse it is. Every day. That first SBA program where it was an initial injection of $10,000, I don't know of a single business. I don't know of a single business anywhere in the country that actually got that money. You had to go to the SBA site. You had to fill out a questionnaire. There was going to be like a stimulus for small businesses out there. I don't think they ever got it back. And that was part of the first stimulus package. The first one. That $1,200 check that they keep talking about. Yeah, we're going to get that check out the door. Yes, we are. We're going to get it out. It's going to be out there sooner rather than later. That $1,200. That money's been spent already. The money's been spent. Someone that's getting that check, that's capable of getting that type of money, it's gone. Those aren't people that have deep pockets and a lot of money put away for a rainy day. They put that on their credit cards. They're going to have to pay that down. Well, you're going to come up, you're going to send another check? Congress can't even get together into fully funding the PPP program. They can't even get together on that. So no. This has been a disaster. And I know you get, oh boy, look at all that they've done and look at how quickly this package has come together and let's compare it to TARP. Give me a break. The banks got their money. They got it right away. The Federal Reserve acted to shore up the financial system and the banks and the credit markets right away. Do you honestly think that small businesses have been shored up now? You think that small businesses right now see a light at the end of the tunnel? They don't. They don't. To quote the line being in Bible, you talk about Charlton Heston. Again, it's Easter week. How many people out there used to watch every year? I remember watching on a black and white TV, 13-inch black and white TV in my bedroom, 10 Commandments. Always was on. Always on Easter week. Charlton Heston, let my people go. It's time to let your people go. Got to take a break. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Our newsletter. Consultations with our certified financial planners. All sorts of great stuff there at our website. Please take advantage of everything we have to offer. We're here to help. Watchdog on WallStreet.com. Our 24-hour-a-day help hotline. 800-471-5984. That's 800-471-5984.
Down the road in some cold blue steel. I had a blues man on the back and a beautician out the wheel.
The only man who is taking on the Wall Street establishment. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
This past Wednesday, I got a phone call. Chris, we need you to go on TV. Bernie Sanders has dropped out of the race. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, he's still in the race? I didn't even really think twice about it. I mean, it wasn't that, as far as a time frame is concerned, it wasn't that long ago where I was ranting and raving on this program and on the podcast about how frightening Bernie Sanders was and how, what he could do to the American economy, just how dangerous a guy like he was. And now it's like, it's like Star Wars. It seems like long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I'm nostalgic for the days where I could come on the show and take apart Bernie Sanders' moronic ideas. But yeah, that was news on Wednesday. And, the question was, well, how is this going to affect the stock markets? And at the time, the markets were up. And they're like, wow, look, Bernie Sanders pulled out and the markets are up. I'm like, give me a break, guys. Come on. It's just a trader reaction. It doesn't mean anything at this point in time. The markets don't give a damn about Bernie Sanders right now. I think most people knew that he wasn't going to. It was priced into the market, so it was headline driven. Some algorithm and some traders decided to trade it that given day because guess what? There was nothing else really to trade. We've got to do something. We got to have justification for our existence. It doesn't go to the underlying fundamentals of what's taking place in the United States economy. And again, on our talk, look at this big head-to-head matchup between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I don't even know where Joe Biden is. Who in the world is actually even thinking about Joe Biden at this point in time? How in the world? I'm thinking about how in the world are we going to conduct this election when you got people unemployed left and right, and you have the country shut down. People are like, well, we didn't stop elections during the Civil War. Yeah, I understand that. But people could still leave their home. They could still get out of their house. Did you see the story this past week? I'm not making this up. True story. Lady's going a little bit stir crazy in her house. She wants to get out of the house. In Pennsylvania. You know, she starts typing on the typewriter, all work and no play, make Jack a dull boy. A Shining reference. But anyway, she decides to get in her car and go for a ride. The cops pull her over and give her a ticket for not obeying the stay-at-home order. So what country are we living in right now? She's in her own car. She can't hurt anybody in her own car. You're going to give her a ticket and fine her for that? And again, you get the little Stasis and Nazis that we have all over the country. Again, one of the social experiment, it really is, if you really want to think about it. The how quickly, you see how Nazism was possible. Yeah, you see how Stalin was possible. You had Stalin days, you had kids turning their parents in to the KGB to be killed. You got neighbor versus neighbor here, yelling and screaming at one another, and I saw this people, and they weren't 6 feet apart, and oh, come on. Can't have that happen, people. Can't. Let me tell you something which is kind of interesting. It's kind of on a side note because we're going to talk about things that are going to be happening, that we see happening. Talked about it last week on the show, but talked about in the podcast happening down the road. And the European Union has real problems right now. They have real problems. They're not a union, okay? I know they love their blue flag with stars. They love it, and they love their headquarters and the fancy writing. They're so classy. We're the European Union. Are they helping each other out during this coronavirus pandemic? No. No. They're actually shutting their borders down and saying, hey, no, I'm keeping those masks. No, I'm not sharing ventilators with Italy. They helping each other out? No. They can't even get together and try to put a stimulus package. Again, that's nice. You've got your little European Union. But this, like I said from the get-go, was a fugazi. It's a fugazi. And again, it could lead, this coronavirus thing could be the nail in the coffin for the European Union. Anyway, another thing I want to talk about as well. A magazine that I used to read years ago. It got way too far to the left, and now it's even getting farther out of the UK, was The Economist. Used to read it. It's not now. I honestly, I wouldn't use The Economist for toilet paper. The Economist, the Financial Times, Tom Friedman, many others out there now pushing for what? More socialism, more centralized, more government power. Actually calling on the, socialization of technology companies, saying that they are so important, the government should take them over and make them utilities. Tom Friedman's on CNBC this past week talking about, we need to be giving up more of our civil liberties. I learned to give them up after 9/11. We got to be willing to give up more civil liberties today. These are people that want to be more like China. They're sick in the head. This push for more big government, more socialist nonsense out there. It's sickening. It really is. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. Again, our newsletter, consultations with our certified financial planners, all sorts of great stuff. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. We'll be back.
Chris Markowski is the watchdog on Wall Street. You should believe in math, not magic. You're listening to The Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
Yeah, I probably ran out of time last segment, but anyway, Henry Kissinger had a piece this past week calling on the need for us not to lose all of our global institutions, and we've got to keep the way we've been doing things, all of this globalist claptrap nonsense that has been shoved down our throats, that has moved our factories overseas. What? For cheap Chinese crap. Yeah, Kissinger. Yeah. These people, it's amazing. They're wrong again and again and again on everything that they do, but we keep going to them. Yeah. Oh, yes, we need more diplomats is what we need. We need more world governmental bodies. We need a hole in the head, Henry. These people have always wanted to start up some sort of Plato's Republic where they're the philosopher kings running the entire show. And we're just the peasants having to listen to what they hell have to say. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this. This past week I found extraordinary. Again, you have all of the useful idiots out there. All of the people that do not like to think critically. They're people that they assign themselves a team. I am a donkey. I'm a donkey. I'm an elephant. They assign themselves a team. And if you're on the donkey, if you're not, you have to hate Donald Trump. You have to hate Donald Trump. Hate him, and you have to hate all of the people that work for Donald Trump. Rather than using critical thinking in regards to anything that you do, that is what guides you. That, my friends, makes you a cult member. You are a cult member if you think that way. You're not a free thinker. You're not bright. You're not smart. You're a member of a cult. Anyway, this past week, there was a story that came out. Where it was, in the news, we hear that there's a rift. And we hear that there's a rift at the whole coronavirus task force. Oh, my God. Peter Navarro got into an argument with Dr. Fauci. What was it about? Well, it was about treatment. Yeah. It was about treatment, about this hydroxychloroquine. I could pronounce it wrong. Chloroquine. I'll get it in a second. Sorry, as I'm stepping all over it. Well, Navarro said, we need to get this out. We need to have this out, get this out to as many people as possible. And Fauci may have disagreed, and the news media got a hold of it. And how dare Peter Navarro question Saint Fauci, because he's been knighted. He's like a saint to people on the left. It's like Fauci's running the country, according to them. Fauci should be running. Whatever Fauci says has to be right. It's like Fauci is coming down from the mountain like Moses. He's got whatever Fauci says must go. Really. I'm going to play for you a clip of Dr. Fauci from January 21st. I was there. I was at Newsmax that very day, and Dr. Fauci was there doing an interview with Greg Kelly. Let's hear what Dr. Fauci has to say about the coronavirus. Have a listen.
So manageable numbers. Bottom line, we don't have to worry about this one, right?
Well, obviously you need to take it seriously and do the kinds of things that the CDC and the Department of Homeland Security are doing. But this is not a major threat for the people in the United States, and this is not something that the citizens of the United States right now should be worried about.
So manageable numbers. Don't have to worry about this one, right?
There you go. There's Dr. Fauci in January about coronavirus. At the same time, in January, Peter Navarro was warning us that this could get very bad, and we need to prepare for it, that this could cause major problems. Not Dr. Peter Navarro. I think he might have his doctorate, if I'm not mistaken. But he was right. Fauci was wrong. My point is that, you know what? Nobody knows. I know doctors that are treating people with this hydroxychloroquine. I keep fumbling over the chlorocloquine. I'll get it in a second. But anyway, tongue twister for me. That are treating people, and guess what? It works for some people. It doesn't work for all. If it worked for all, then everybody would survive, right? My brother had lymphoma. I can't tell you how many different types of treatments that they tried until they finally, God willing, found something that worked, that saved his life. I can't tell you. It's not an exact science by any stretch of the imagination. And guess what, people? There are plenty of epidemiologists all across the country that think what we are doing right now is insane. Doesn't make any sense at all. So do yourself a favor. Think critically, okay? Again, this goes to the whole climate change nonsense. There's no such thing as consensus and science. They have nothing to do with one another. And if you haven't been paying attention and watching what's going on, to see all of the mixed things that we have been told over the past month and a half to 2 months, I'm sorry, people. And you're going to still put your unbridled, what's coming down from Fauci, it's coming down from Birx. It must be right. Really? Are you sure? I'm not. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back.
Bringing America financial freedom one listener at a time. You're listening to the Watchdog on Wall Street with Chris Markowski.
Hydroxychloroquine. I think I got it. I don't know why I fumble over that word so much. Anyway, welcome back to the Watchdog on Wall Street show. Okay. Let me ask you a question. If this is things not airborne, why is Paris, yes, the city of Paris, I'm not making this up, has announced, again, this is another example of politician poker where they raise one another. Authorities in Paris have announced that they will ban outdoor exercise between the hours of 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Can't go out. All physical exercise, running, walking, will be banned in Paris between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. The aim is to keep the crowds down. Again, you try to explain this to me. Aren't people going to go out before 10 a.m. and after 7 p.m. to make those times of the day that much more crowded outside by shutting it down from those hours? Isn't that just logical? How many people out there actually just wonder to themselves how in the world these politicians actually get themselves in these positions of power with the dumb things that they have to say? So you're closing down from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., but we're going to be open the other times. And people aren't going to go out those other times? You've got to be kidding me. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just going to rant a little bit here about my situation with my kids. I don't understand this. And I'm sure that this is happening to a lot of other parents around the country. Our high school graduation exams are canceled here in the state of New York. They canceled the Regents exams. And the Regents exams, something you have in the state of New York public schools. You have to get a diploma, you have to have passed a certain amount of these exams. I took them when I was a kid. Why cancel them? Why don't you just push them back? Why are you canceling them? You can't just move the dates? Is it that hard to just move the dates? I don't know what to do. I don't know if my kids are going back to school. There's still the hope that they're going to go back to school at the beginning of May. My kids have gotten 2 report cards so far this year. 2. I'm going to pass them on. I'm going to pass them on to the next grade with 2 report cards, and they're going to get some sort of half-ass online schooling. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Is that what you're telling me? That's what I'm supposed to do. You think that's good? Yeah, you think that's bright? That's smart that the kids don't learn all of the material that they need to know? You haven't come up with a solution for this yet? I don't care if they go to a summer school. I don't. They need to learn the material. Well, we'll just cancel it. Really? And they're going to learn by osmosis? You're going to put their book underneath their pillow and they're going to magically learn the material? WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. We'll be back.
You're listening to The Watchdog on Wall Street. Taking Wall Street's liars, crooks, and cheats out behind the woodshed. You're listening to The Watchdog on Wall Street.
Welcome back, everybody. It is The Watchdog on Wall Street show. Always honored to have you tuned into the program. And here's some numbers, amazing numbers that nobody's really talking about out there. People, you might listen to this program. I'm not Alex Jones, okay? I'm not. It's not wild conspiracy theories we come up here on the program. We do our homework, people. We look into this. And my first reaction to any single time a politician or a bureaucrat moves their mouth is BS. Bull excrement. Any time a politician moves their mouth, I am thinking BS. I find it extraordinary that people aren't capable of doing that. There was that line or that scene in The Hunt for Red October where Jack Ryan at that time Jack Ryan's been played by many different actors over the years. So the original one was Alec Baldwin in Hunt for Red October. Is approached, I think, by the president's chief of staff, and President's chief of staff says that I'm a politician. Means I am a cheat and a liar. If I'm not kissing babies, I'm stealing their lollipops. I want you to think of that every single time a politician or a bureaucrat opens their mouth. Now, bureaucrats are a little bit different. Bureaucrats, the only thing that they're trying to do is keep themselves out of trouble. They don't want to have to make difficult choices. Now, 430,000 people flew directly from China to the United States since January. 430,000 flew directly from China to the United States since January. Since Donald Trump has shut down the flights from China, the traveling, 40,000 have come. Now, you don't think that this virus has spread here, there, and that's just since January. That's just since, for all we know, let's be honest, for all we know, this coronavirus was probably out and about in China in the fall, and they didn't have a clue. What do you think, that their public health is even close to what we have going on here in the United States? And one of the doctors that discovered the darn thing over there, didn't they make that doctor disappear? Anyway. The founder and chairman of Colony Capital, name's Tom Barrack. Tom Barrack, he runs a big real estate portfolio. And he's saying that, guess what? He's in deep trouble. He's in deep trouble. Owns a lot of, mortgage-backed securities, collateralized loan obligations, a lot of, that stuff. Those are dirty words. These are dirty words in the United States today after the Great Recession and the financial crisis. They're in deep trouble. And he's looking to get a a bailout or getting some sort of help because he knows people are going to stop paying. People are going to stop paying. And there's politics involved right now. They see help go to that area. They see help go to collateralized debt obligations, mortgage-backed securities. People are going to freak out, and I get it. I get it, but do you want to replay the same thing? I don't think people fully understand how big a brick has been thrown into the bathtub full of water. Anyway. By the way, I forgot to mention this as well before. Those PPP loans, by the way. Yeah, your banks are going to be making money putting those loans together. And guess what? The Fed is going to buy them. The Fed is going to buy the loans. It's almost like a riskless transaction, for crying out loud. They're going to underwrite the loans and the Fed's going to buy them. Why is this so difficult, for crying out loud? Other news out of Italy. This shouldn't surprise anyone. China is now forcing Italy to buy back the coronavirus supplies that it had donated to Beijing just a few weeks ago. And listen, again, I love Italy, but you know, you sign a deal with the devil. I mean, you did. Last year, you decided to go in that direction. Yeah, we're gonna saddle up with China's Silk Road project here. You signed a deal with the devil. We done it too, because we wanted cheap Chinese crap. Some obscure story I was reading today in France and now the UK that China brought over an invasive species, this Chinese mega hornet that they've got there. If you're allergic to the venom, one sting will kill you. This big hornet that's killing honeybees and wrecking havoc. I mean, keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up with our cheap Chinese crap, people. See how that works out for us. UK is also complaining as well. A lot of the Chinese ventilators and equipment that they've bought from China, guess what, are faulty. Whoa. Are you serious? Wow, there's a surprise for you there. Inferior products and goods coming out of China. I'm shocked. Wow, I'm so surprised by that. We got, guys, I have a stack of headlines and stories that we've got to get through today. Yeah, we're doing the best we can to get through it all. Again, we invite each and every one of you to become a part of the Watchdog on Wall Street family. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. All sorts of free goodies and giveaways. Make sure you're signing up for our podcast as well, which we do Monday through Friday. WatchdogOnWallStreet.com. We'll be back.
Chris Markowski is the Watchdog on Wall Street.